A lot of people, but let's play this clip real quick, Deep, because again, this was released on February 7th, 2020. So over a month before the pandemic started, which was obviously a world-changing event and all that. And Douglas Rushkoff is talking about some very candid conversations he has had with people who I would describe as very separated from the realities of the average person. Let's run it.
Yeah, I was invited to do what I thought was a talk to like bankers or something at a resort. And instead of me going out on stage to do a talk, they brought these 5 guys into the green room who started peppering me with all these questions about the digital future, Bitcoin or Ethereum and augmented reality or virtual reality. I figured it was one of these things where it's just these 5 billionaires looking for, investment strategies from someone who's on the ground in the cyber revolution. And eventually they got around to the question of, Alaska or New Zealand. Right, so they wanted to know mainly how to prepare for the inevitable collapse of society. And the question we spent most of the time on was, how do I maintain control of my security force after the event? Because their money's going to be worthless and these guys will turn on them. And it just struck me that here are the wealthiest and most powerful men I've ever encountered, yet they feel utterly powerless to influence the digital future, that the best they can do is prepare for the inevitable collapse and, insulate themselves from the reality that they're creating by earning money in the way they're earning it. And it was sad, but it was indicative of the way these folks are thinking. The high-level billionaires like the Elon Musks and Jeff Bezos, they want to get off the planet altogether, really just leave us behind. But the mid-level billionaires who can't afford rocket ships, they want to build, bunkers and secret communities and get robot guards and, to protect themselves from the rest of us. They really think that this is where it's going, or at least they're convinced enough that they're putting in 20-30% of their wealth into these survivalist scenarios, and it's a dark place for us to have gotten. Particularly the people who are building the technological infrastructure.
Yeah, and I think your conclusion to that was.
So this last part we're going to watch of this right here. This is in a nutshell. To me, just encapsulates the complete separation from reality. And I would argue, at the very least, a basic human decency or straight up lack of humanity that some of, and I'm not labeling all people, some of these elites, seemingly the ones that he's talking with, have of all of us. Let's play it. But let's.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honor unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Beginning with the 144,000 men, back with another lesson. The name of this one is The Doomsday Plan of the Elites Will Be Thwarted. All right? The Doomsday Plan of the Elites will be thwarted by who? Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. Here in this video here, you just saw the short video from TikTok. And fair use. This video is only for educational purposes only. Copyright is claimed on 1976 declared. Alright, so this leaked billionaire doomsday plan interview, they say everybody missed. But we already know that. We knew how through the scriptures that these devils are going to try to escape the same chaos that they're going to be creating. Alright? They want that, remember, they want that reset. Alright? And they know it's coming from the higher ups, from the higher up elites, right? By creating chaos on another level, on a huge level. Alright, they think they're gonna get this, they're gonna get what they really want, order at KO, order out of chaos, and all these things, right? This is what they're about. Alright? And to the point where they think they're gonna create all this chaos with AI, etc., because everything's being guided to that direction. Alright, literally they control the regulators with money and whatnot. The bias was supposed to be looking out for the safety of AI, making sure it's properly directed, making sure it's safe. No, that's not happening. All right. While you know, they're gonna do that, and they're gonna have the whole earth basically in a mess, in complete utter chaos. All right, with Jake and the heathen rioting, wars, sedition, etc. And they're gonna hide away. Some of them believe they're gonna go up into space. Some of them believe they're gonna go to the earth, underneath the ground, in the bunkers. All right, to the point where they're so afraid that they're using 20% to 30% of their wealth to prepare for this, which is a significant amount of money. You know, think about these guys are multi-billionaires. All right, so they're building these huge ass bunkers and all these things, you know, thinking that, you know, it's going to insulate them from the great conflict that's happening here. All right, now I have a video here. I'm going to play this video. First and foremost, before I do that, let me get, yeah man bro, let me get this thing here. This is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2, and Habakkuk 2 and verse 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him." Who's that? Esau, Edom, so-called white man, which is the majority of these elites. All right, you know, to a man to do that, to do this shit, to go too so far, you know, it shows something that this man is a complete rogue, is a complete vagabond. All right, to let this AI take over, which he knows it's going to happen. He's been peeping and looking through his project looking glass, etc. All right, it says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." So they don't have any faith. Their faith is in their money. And when the money is gone, which you guy was talking about, that the money gonna have no value. When the money is gone, you know, that's it. You know, it's finished. Basically, you know, that's what it is. That's what it's going into. You know, so it's a serious time here. You know, it's a serious time that's coming up here, and these devils, you know, they in a bad place. You know. They don't know what the hell they want to. They don't know what the hell to do. As they say, they're asking him. They pulled this guy. 5 of them came and pulled this guy and asked him, "How are we going to escape from what's going to come to pass? How are we going to do it?" All right, because you know, this thing is going to be so terrible. They have people all over the internet talking about it, talking about the you know, the horror. People all over these rich men all over the world been traveling here, traveling there, you know, and there was a Jake, you know, some videos that the brothers put out with Jakes, you know, or one Jake or a couple of Jakes talking about, you know, the interaction with these rich Edomites, and they tell them basically that, hey, you know, think about your worst nightmare, you know, and then, you know, they make changes, pack up, you know, sort of pack up things, make sure your family's safe, make sure you have food, etc., because this is what's coming. All right, and they know it, and this is what we've been telling you guys. You know, it's gonna be a whole mess. It's gonna be a whole mess. Okay, now let's play this video here.
The fancy banker you see here will be the home of billionaires when the world goes into chaos.
Mark Zuckerberg is building a $100 million Hawaii compound with massive underground bunker.
We're talking doors that can withstand nuclear detonation.
There's a decontamination shower, a little storage room here.
Many years of food supply.
This really satisfies me.
Filtered air and water inside a solar-powered home. And every entertainment facility you could think of. All conveniently preserved so they don't even experience what it's like to suffer. Many of the world's most powerful people are...
Yet they are the ones who orchestrating it. Alright? You know, but they're not going to escape. Let's continue.
Concerned. How can they protect themselves if something goes wrong? What do these billionaires know that we don't?
This exact area was becoming like a doomsday prepper paradise.
Let me welcome you to the dark side of billionaire bankers.
if somebody wanted to break into your bunker, even if they got through the door above, they would have to get through a 3-inch thick steel door, which they're not going to.
And I don't want to depress you, but as early as 2022, media theorist Douglas Rushkoff revealed there was a highly secretive gathering of super wealthy people consulting him about how to prepare for the event. His conclusion was that...
Alright, you see the same video that we saw. They consulting him about how to prepare, what to do. Alright, so these devils they're desperate for themselves because they know it's going to get out of control. And this is what we've been telling you guys, you know, going back into 2nd Ezra 16. I read it last night on a video. I read it again. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 17. It says, woe is me, woe is me. When Ezra saw it, Ezra basically said, hey, destruction is me. Right? How the hell am I going to get out of this thing? Right? Who will deliver me in those days? He said, you know, is the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. He's the only one who could deliver us in those days. Going back into Jacob's trouble, Jeremiah 30 and 7. Alright? And these devils are going to rely on the money and the bunkers, etc. We have to rely on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai because we don't have the finances for that shit. Alright? The Lord is the one who's going to keep us in that day. Okay, so this is what's coming. It says the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great debt. The data center is going to use up the resources, create famine, create drought. Alright? You know, there'll be great mournings. People have no job to go to. No way to get income. Nobody's going to care because the government is not going to need your tax dollars anymore. Not going to need your labor anymore, the private companies. So basically you're not going to be needed anymore. It's just like you saw it was the movie The Transformers, when, you know, this guy Roy, is it Joyce or whatever his name was, the tech billionaire, and he said, you know, hey, we can make you, right? You know, you don't need you any longer. All right. So they wouldn't be needed. Jake wouldn't be needed for his services any longer to the work. That's the reason why they kept you Jakes around, to work as slaves in the system. But the GDP of the countries on this new world order is going to be from AI. Alright? You're not going to be needed, and you're not going to be wanting to invest in education, in so-called in childcare, in health, which the education system is a whole farce anyway. Alright? It's turn into a perfect slave. They're not going to be investing in your safety. Alright? It's all going to be about AI. AI is going to be the God. They are God in that time. Alright, so it's going to be great pestilence, great famine coming. So let's continue in verse 18. 2nd Ezra 16 and 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great debt, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The major war going to be World War III. But there are going to be a lot of other wars and sedition, you know, and race wars, etc., fights within each country. Alright? Okay, the powers shall stand in fear. The powers know that, hey, this is going to be too much for them. You know, Jake gonna come for them, the heathen gonna come for them, the only AI might come for them, basically. So they're gonna run below the ground. That's what they're hoping in their mind, that, you know, it's gonna be so. And you know, they're gonna run underneath the ground, and guess what? The Lord is gonna preserve them for when He comes back. All right, and then they're gonna be taken out and rounded up and thrown in the pit. All right, let's continue here. It says the power shall stand in fear. They're in fear right now. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? And Ezra saw it. There's certain things the Lord told Ezra not to write down. There's certain things the Lord told Moses not to write down. There's certain things the Lord told the Apostle John not to write down. All right, why? Because they're terrible. He didn't want us to know exactly what was coming. But now we can see it. Now we can see the dystopia. All right, and this is a warning for you here in this. Don't go and take that MOTB. Okay? It's better to die than to take the MOTB. All right, which is the RFID microchip, right? This is 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 19. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So, you know, they're not going to be thinking about these things. They're not going to think it's coming from the Heavenly Father, which it is. Alright? All this hell that's about to come upon the earth is the Lord Heavenly Father is bringing it because of the wickedness of this place. Alright? And all the elites, they think that they're going to go into the bunkers and everything going to be okay and etc, etc. And it's not going to be okay for you. Let's play some more of this video.
Extremely wealthy people are concerned with how bankers can help them when things go into chaos.
Slide it away. Close it.
That little round hole, that's your escape.
If you have $1 billion, we have learned that you can do whatever you want to do.
I mean, Elon Musk himself has said that he's interested in colonizing Mars because he wants to ensure the survival of the human race in case of catastrophic event.
You can terraform.
He wants to ensure his survival. And this is the reason why, you know, he's been paying all these women to make his children. Because he believes he's going to have a colony of Elon Musk, his progeny, going to you know, inherit Mars, and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. No, the Lord is not going to allow that to happen. The Lord set the bounds which you cannot pass. All right, and you're not going to escape. You can climb up into the atmosphere. The Lord is going to take you down.
Terraform means make it like Earth, essentially.
Listen to this, guys. At least 50% of Silicon Valley's richest people have a so-called apocalypse insurance to protect them when a big disaster hits Earth.
On the brink of Armageddon, Bill Gates and his buddies are buying up bunkers.
And don't you wonder why it was seriously named one of the real estate trends of 2023?
If a person thought the world was going to end and they had to go underground because a meteor was going to hit the Earth, this is how you would live.
There's a reason why the most powerful individuals are also quite paranoid right now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 14 batteries.
So let's ask again. What do these billionaires know that we don't?
Those are security shutters. So with a push of a button, if you want, you can lock up the entire structure.
What does Mark Zuckerberg know that he built a $100 million compound in Hawaii that includes a 5,000 square feet underground bunker with concrete walls and an escape hatch? What is he preparing for that this bunker set to cost a whooping $270 million have to have soundproof doors, food supplies, and water supplies?
Zuckerberg has seized a staggering 5.5 million square meters of land, surrounding it with a 2-meter high wall.
What does Bill Gates know that he is rumored to have also built underground security areas in every one of his properties?
This is Bill Shelton. Is that Bill Gates right there walking the dog? Wait, hi to Bill. There's Bill.
And what do the rest of the world's richest people know that luxury banker makers like Opidum are out here building the world's largest underground safe houses?
Constructed to withstand ballistic, environmental, and civil threats. This is security without sacrifice. Comfort without compromise.
Bunkers that feature a swimming pool, helipad, defense system, home theater, underground garden, spa, cinema, and wine vault.
Your private gallery keeps your collections in perfect condition.
I mean, look, for another bunker called the Survival Condo, there are even floors upon floors of underground luxury.
People do not expect to see a resort pool in an underground bunker.
These doomsday shelters cost hundreds of thousands to millions. And even celebrities like Kim K are considering them.
We are going to go to a bunker that...
Because all of them are insiders. Right, they're insiders. You know, but enough of that. Let's go to these scriptures. Alright? Because these devils, all of them think they can do what they want. They can treat our people the way they want. They can keep us in captivity. And then they're going to escape the judgment. Because remember this. Before we go here, let's go here. Jeremiah 50, right, verse 33. Alright. It says, Jeremiah 50 and all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. 50 and verse 31. It says, Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, power of hosts. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. And eventually Babylon the Great is going to be burnt up, right? It says, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. They used us down to the last, and destroyed us, destroyed our culture, destroyed our heritage, as they thought. That's why they're shocked and they're afraid that the Lord is giving back to us the truth, giving back to us the Holy Spirit. All right, because they held us fast. They refused to let them go, to let us go. It says their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. So they're being disquieted right now in their mind first, and then after physically it's going to happen. They believe that they're causing this chaos, but it's really the Lord is doing it. The Lord is going to cause all this chaos, right? For all these demons, these flicking nasty ass Edomites, who been doing all this to our people, right? James 5:1, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last days. Yeah, you believe that heap together this money, and you're doing this thing. You're giving the power unto the beast, right? And this system, this technological system with AI, data centers, etc. Right? You're allowing it to, the regulations to pass, to hasten it, right? Thinking that they could wipe us out, thinking that you're going to reign forever. It's not going to happen. I have news for you. It's not going to happen. All right? It says, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, right? All the work that we did, which is kept back, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of him which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. The cries of the Lord, people are entered into his ears. So now we're going to replace us with what? With AI. And it's going to go rogue. It is rogue. All right? It is rogue. Not going to go rogue. All right? You have lived in pleasure on the earth. You have been wanton. You have nourished your heart as in the day of slaughter. All your luxury bunkers and all those things. You have condemned and killed the just, and he does not resist you. So you think you're going to do all that, and you're going to get away scot-free. No, you're not. No, you're not. This is Amos chapter 9, verse 1. I saw Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the lintel of the door, that the posts may shake, and cut them all in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away. So all those who flee and think they're not going to flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. Though they dig into hell, right? They go into your bunker, into your mountain retreat. All right? Yeah. Then shall my hand take them, right? Though they climb up to the heaven, thence will I bring them down. Like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos talking about they're going to leave the planet. They're going to inhabit Mars. No, the Lord hand, his men, his angels and his men are going to take them. See me, they said we're going to take the kingdom. The scripture says that in the book of Daniel. All right? And though they dig into hell, guess what's going to happen? Let's get the book of Jeremiah 16 and verse 16. It says what? Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord. And we are the fishers, the prophets who do this work. Right? And then shall Salakia, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Salakia. And they shall fish them, and after will I send for many hunters. Right? So the Lord is going to turn the fishers into hunters. Right? And they shall hunt them from every mountain, right? From the bunkers in the mountains. Right? The mountain retreats, the bunkers, and from every hill, right? And out of the holes of the rocks. Right? So the Lord is going to send his hand after them. Alright? Okay? Because you can't hide from the Lord. For mine eyes are upon all their ways, all the sin, all the evil that they've done. They are not hid from his face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. Right? And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. So they're going to be punished. These Edomites are going to be punished by the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. We're going back into Amos. Let's go back to the book of Amos 9. Alright, the Lord said his hand, going to take the hand, represent the elect men who are going to be changed. How are they going to be changed? You go back to Isaiah 59 and 19. When the enemy coming like a flood, Spirit of the Lord going to lift up our standard. So that's going to be the beginning of the change. We already have the down payment, which is the Holy Spirit. And the Lord is going to turn it up and up on us. That Spirit is going to be turned up to the point where we're going to be doing miracles. We're going to be able to escape from this devil. We're going to be able to fly to the attack of this devil with that spiritual power. And ultimately, with the coming of Yahweh Shai, this flesh is going to be changed to the immortal flesh. And there's going to be nothing they can do. No kind of military defense system, no robot, no mercenaries are going to be able to defend against him. No nuclear reinforced doors are going to be able to stand before the men of the Lord. They're going to be torn down. Right? They're going to be torn down by the men of the Lord in that day. Alright? You know, they're going to be torn down. Let's continue here. It says, Amos 9 and verse 3, it says, and though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel mountain, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, the Leviathan. Right? That massive beast is real. Right? According to Job 40. And he said because they have underwater cities too as well. And bunkers, as you would call it, you know. Basically retreats. Right? The Lord say he will command the serpent and he shall bite them. Right? And though they go into captivity before mine eyes, which is what is going to happen, thence will I command the sword and it shall slay them. And I will set mine eyes upon them for evil and not for good. And this is what it happened to Israel. It's going to happen to you. You're not going to escape. You're going to drink of that cup. You're going to drink of that cup. Okay? You best believe you're going to drink of that cup. Alright? And nothing is going to survive above or below the ground in America. That's why the Lord, the Lord hasn't allowed them to use up all the massive, because America has have a huge amount of oil and gas reserves. But the Lord has had them using other people's own, in Saudi Arabia, etc., Venezuela now, and all these things. But guess what? All that has been stored away, which you thought you were storing it away for you to have the upper hand in the end. No, it's been stored away so they're going to be the fire. That when the fire hits America through the nuclear missiles, through the chariot fire, all of that oil and gas is going to be ignited. So all those bunkers that they built in America, no one is going to survive in those bunkers. It's going to be their tombs. It's going to be their tombs. All right, and that's good. That's those who who will back the wages of the poor, of Israel, and pile up that money. All that money you all made off our people sweat, blood, and tears. That's gonna result in your tomb. All that millions and billions of dollars you're pumping into those bunkers, they're gonna be glorified ovens to bake you in, to bake you to smithereens, to ashes. All right, this is what's about to take place here. Let's get another precept. Let's get the book of Isaiah, chapter 13. All right, and verse 11. All right, it says, I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. That's what the Lord is about to do. But guess what? Look what the Lord is going to do to his elect men. Listen carefully. It says, I will make a man more precious than fine gold. Who is this? This is a man of the Lord, an elect man. Right? This is why, Isaiah 4:1 is going to take place. A lot of these women are going to see the men of the Lord, going up, rising up above the waves, as it were. Rising above the waves, above the currents, and striving through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And they're going to cleave unto them to be successful, to be saved. Right? I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of hosts, and the day of his fierce anger, right? And it shall be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man take up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land, because it's going to be a mess in Babylon. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, and their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. And this is why these elites are running for their life, and they're so terrified. They're terrified of their own creation, because they know it's going to get out of hand. Alright? And we understand what's coming. This is why we tell you to repent and turn unto the Lord. This is Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. And America is going to be a giant oven, a giant altar, a giant sacrifice to the Lord. Okay? That shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But some of these elites are going to survive. How are we going to survive? The Lord is going to allow them to have bunkers in other parts of the world. Right? In Europe, Hawaii, some from the fleet of Alaska, some on the fleet of New Zealand, right, as the guy was talking about. And, the Lord is they're going to be the first fruits of slavery. They're going to be, they're going to be the first fruits locked away. Right? And we're going to come and take them out and then put them in the pit. And they're going to serve us. That's what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is about to bring on this place. Alright? He's going to bring it to happen. And all those who think they could shed our blood and get away scot-free and be found in his hand, no, it's not going to be like that. Alright? The Lord said, I know if he who basically kidnap a man and be found in his hand, basically, it's going to be, it's not going to work out good for you. You have to be slain. Your blood has to be shed. And that's what's going to take place. That's what's going to take place. So the wicked, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it. Alright? They're going to feel it. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 15. Isaiah 24 and 15, it says, wherefore glorify ye Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai in the fires, even the name of Yahweh power of Israel in the isles of the sea. This is what we're going to be doing, glorifying his name when destruction comes. From the uttermost parts of the earth have we heard songs, even glory to the righteous. But I said, my leanness, woe unto me. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Yea, the treacherous dealers have dealt very treacherously. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon the inhabitants of the earth. Yeah, because they're gonna set that snare, that AI. Right? And they all the confusion that they're bringing. Right? And it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit. They're gonna fall into the pit. Right? And he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake, or the missiles going to become true. Alright? The nuclear missiles, right? The ICBMs. It says the earth is utterly broken down, the earth is clean dissolved, the earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. And it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, right? Those Edomites. And the kings of the earth upon the earth. So they're going to be punished. They're not going to escape. It says, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in prison, and after many days shall be visited, right, to slap chains on you. Alright? This is what's going to happen. Okay? So for y'all who think you're going to get away, no, you're not going to get away. You think you're being prudent by storing away all that oil. That oil is going to be the fuel of fire to burn you with. And I'll just hit this real quick. Isaiah 9 and 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Right, that's right. And this is the curse that's going to come upon you Edomites with the modern day Basra, which is America. Zechariah 14 and 12, it says, and this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Right? This is the plague. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. The nuclear missile, that be some of destruction, that sweeping action is going to sweep them away and completely disintegrate you. Right? And who are the people of the Lord curse? Let's see. Isaiah 34, verse straight to the point, verse 5. It says, my sword shall be bathed in heaven. That sword are the ICBM nuclear missiles. Right? There, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, which is Edom. Right? You saw Edom, you so-called white people. Right? Across there. And upon the people of my curse to judgment. So the descendants of Esau are the people of the Lord curse to judgment. Right? And it's going to be, sword is going to be made fat with fatness. Right? Verse 6 says, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai hath a sacrifice in Bozrah. Bozrah is where? Modern day Bozrah is America. Alright? And a great slaughter in the land of Edom, which is Idumea. So you're not going to survive that. All of you, the only ones who are going to survive are the ones who are outside of America. Alright? But in a way, at the end of the day, the doomsday plan of the elites are going to be thwarted at the fact that they're gonna survive the bunkers, etc. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Those in America are going to be burnt up, and the ones around the world who have the bunkers, they're going to be the first fruits of slavery. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying to you. Next time, Shalom, Wa Harag Babal.